Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is a Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, June 14th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOanalytical.com. We had some Google weekend volatility this week, or weekend. Google spoke a little bit more about the search leak. I interviewed Elizabeth Tucker. Apple announced Apple Intelligence, their AI, plus a lot more there, and so much more. So definitely stay tuned. And of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb is the all-in-one strategic SEO software. Get clarity of the SEO landscape through competitive analysis, keyword research, rank tracking, SERP insights, and more. With industry-leading traffic and keyword data based on real user journeys, SimilarWeb gives SEO professionals the whole picture so they can strategize smartly and drive sustainable business growth. So check them out at similarweb.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Okay, so first up, we had some Google weekend search volatility. It happened on June 8th over the weekend. There was a little bit of a hiccup while I was offline Wednesday and Thursday, but it just seemed like it wasn't that big, so I'm not covering it. I don't think I'm going to cover it. Maybe I will when I analyze it a little bit deeper. But again, the weekend volatility was definitely significant. It was on June 8th. We saw a lot of volatility. The tools all lit up, and the chatter was pretty significant over the weekend. So if you did see any big ranking changes over the weekend, you were definitely not alone. Google responded more to the search leak. Specifically, Danny Sullivan, the Google search liaison, spoke a little bit more about Navboost, clicks, and impressions, and so forth. And what he said was similar to what he said back with the Department of Justice leaks and so forth, where Sullivan said, the reality is we use a variety of signals, different ranking signals, including, but not solely, aggregated and anonymized interaction data as covered here. And he basically linked to the document which I covered before, where Google talks about how they come up with relevance and so forth, and it has the comment that they use this types of data for ranking purposes. He went on to a really long post to go into a little bit more detail around this types of stuff and the helpful content update and all this other stuff around that. So definitely want to take a look at that. But Google has said, and a lot of the stuff that people are finding in the search leak, Google has said before. Their messaging has changed over the years, but Google has said a lot of these things. Not everything, but a lot of these things. Also, I interviewed Elizabeth Tucker this week at XMX on Tuesday for the keynote, and I tried to ask her some significantly hard questions around how SEOs and content creators should create content for Google, or not really for Google, if you know what I mean. What are some of the SEO misconceptions? We talk a lot about the March core update, how that affected the helpful content update, and what those who are stuck with the helpful content update should do. We talked about things around the Google search leak and AI overviews. I do hope you like the interview, but I do think she gave us some things to look forward to when it comes to the next core update, where it seems like some people may see a recovery from this helpful content update. I hope, but we will see. There's a lot of good nuggets in there. I posted about it on Search Engine Roundtable and also in Search Engine Land. Danny Goodwin covered it. So definitely take a look at that, and hopefully you got something out of that. Google again said that you can recover from the helpful content update with the next core update. This is something, again, that Google has said numerous times. Sullivan, again, posted about this, and he basically said, yes, people can recover. He said, which leads to say, yes, people who have been impacted with core ranking updates may see changes if our systems believe they improved after the next broad core update, and basically goes on and explains that again. So keep that in mind. There is some hope, maybe. We will see. Google, as John Mueller said, that fixing a few pages out of all your pages probably is not the right thing. Basically, he said, and somebody asked, like, somebody said I analyzed my website of, I think it had 20,000 pages, and only 10 pages of that site would classify the website as being able to be hit by the helpful content update or core update. And John Mueller is like, I haven't looked at your website, but it seems unusual that 10 pages out of a 20,000 page website would actually classify your whole website as being unhelpful or whatever. And basically, John goes on, if you found 10 web pages on your website that have issues, maybe it's a theme across your whole entire website. So again, it's hard to know for sure, but definitely take a look at that thread. It's pretty interesting to see John again comment about this. And this morning I posted about how sometimes Google's latest Search Off the Record podcast covered how sometimes Google's experiments could cause issues with wider search-related stuff, which is interesting because Elizabeth Tucker also basically said that her goal with this core update, outside of other goals, was not to break Google search. And this is something that Gary said that. He said very often that search experiments may go ahead and break things in Google search, and sometimes Google has to reverse some of those features. So definitely take a look at that as well. Google also said you can't completely disregard what is served using on desktop for SEO purposes. So Google said now they're primarily only crawling with the mobile crawler, and that if you have a website that does not load at all, completely doesn't render, doesn't load, is just dead on a mobile smartphone, like Google bot smartphone, you will probably not be indexed. And then people ask, well, if that's the case, should I not worry about desktop at all for SEO? And John Mueller said, no, you probably should. You shouldn't disregard it completely, he said. And he said this on Reddit. So keep that in mind. Don't completely disregard your desktop version of your website. Google Search Console performance tabs gained for merchant listings the ability to see in the image tab what like impressions and clicks and performance you're doing there. So now if you have Merchant Center listings, you can now filter by image search, and then you could go ahead and filter that by the search appearance merchant listings, and then Google will show you how your merchant listings are performing specifically when you click on the image tab in Google search. That's pretty quite detailed, and people are happy about it, but I mean, they go into super detail there. They can't give us the basic overviews of feature snippets or AI overviews in Google Search Console performance reports. I don't know why they won't give it to us if it performs so well, but they don't. Google said they added the return policy structured data specifically on the organization level. So you no longer have to go ahead and specify your return policy for merchant listings on a product by product basis. You can do that at the organization level. So if you have the same return policy across your whole entire company, it's a little bit easier now for you to go ahead and say, hey, this is our return policy, and it applies to all our products. Google has removed the home activity cards from the Google search results. This happened this weekend when Google dropped it from the documentation. They said because we no longer show this. Google launched these home activity cards for like things if you want to show me yoga classes in near me and so forth, or online video instructions near me. That has been removed this week, and Google removed that information from the Google search results. Google actually launched this in 2020 during COVID, and now I guess Google decided to remove it. Google said they either trust or do not trust your Sitemap's Lastmod date. Google recently said Lastmod data is more and more important these days for your sitemap file, and if you keep lying in it, Google's not going to trust it. And Gary from Google said it's a binary thing. They trust it or they don't, so keep that in mind. Gary from Google also said you should probably disallow action URLs from being crawled, like buy now, add to cart, sign up for our newsletter, et cetera, because Google's really not going to do much with that. Just keep in mind, Google Merchant Center does say that they sometimes add stuff to your cart to see if the price reflected in the cart is the actual price reflected on your website. So I'm not sure exactly why he said that, because sometimes you have to be careful with that, but just keep that in mind as well, because he's saying don't allow it. You probably don't want to allow it for most cases, but maybe there's a certain Merchant Center crawler that you do want to allow it for. Google has fixed, well, initially they were fixing, but now they have fixed an issue with variant product variant structure data, where it was having this issue with star ratings and bugs. So Google fixed it. If you want more details, pretty technical. Jarno Van Drell and Ryan Levering from Google confirmed the issue and said the fix was here, and Google and Ryan actually confirmed that it has been fixed, where the aggregate rating, price rate range, and item availability should now be working properly for product group rich results, where it hasn't before. It was just a miscommunication, I believe, or a mess up, and Google has fixed that issue. Google is organizing its search results in category structure, or whatever you want to call it. We saw Google testing this back in 2007, but Google announced they're going to actually test this, try this out in AI at I/O this past May, I guess. And now it seems that Google's testing this again. Mike Futa spotted this, and I posted a GIF of this in action, so take a look at that. Google is organizing its search results for some searchers. Google's also testing shading the site name and the favicon and the URL in this type of like shaded bar. It looks pretty cool, actually. I kind of like it. This is spotted by Gagan. I think Brody Clark also spotted this, and VJ also spotted this, so people are actually noticing this. It looks pretty good. I think I like it. Google's also testing showing a 5-pack instead of a 3-pack for the local packs. Historically, Google has shown 3-packs forever as opposed to showing 5 or 10 packs. Now Google's testing showing 5 packs again. This is spotted by Joy Hawkins. Also on the map side, Google seems to be testing showing QR codes in the Google business profiles on desktop, so that I guess you can scan the QR code and get it onto your mobile phone. This is spotted by Joy Hawkins, which you can see here's a screenshot of that as well. So if you do see that, you're definitely not alone. Also, Google Business Profiles websites, which stopped loading websites a couple months ago now and then started to redirect to Google Business Profile listings you're on Google Maps, now completely 404s, which Google said it would happen. Google said it would actually happen on Sunday. It didn't happen until later this week, where Google's business profile website URL is now 404 completely. Bing is testing showing black review stars in the Bing search results instead of having like orange or yellow or red review stars. They're testing black ones. That was spotted by Frank Santman. Nice find there. Google is testing new call and location ad extensions in the search results. I believe this was spotted by Anthony Higman. Nice find there as well. And finally, Siri. Apple had their big the Worldwide Developer Conference, WWC, this week, and announced a bunch of things around, obviously, the new iOS, Apple Watch, iPad, Vision Pro, Mac OS software releases. And one thing that they spent a lot of time on was Siri and the new Apple Intelligence, AI, Apple Intelligence. They did have an announcement with ChatGPT that they are going to be using them, but they also said they're going to use Gemini later on. So there's a lot of things to discuss here in this report. I have a long story about this on June 11th, something to keep in mind because it really looks like, the future of intelligence is coming no matter what you do. AI is here, and it's coming across not just Google, not just Microsoft, but also Apple, and that kind of seals the deal. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Again, I was offline for 2 days this week, so I'm kind of in catch-up mode. I will have a lot of stories that I'll be writing over this week that I missed. Everyone have a safe, healthy weekend. And thanks again to SimilarWeb for sponsoring. Deeply appreciate it. Bye-bye.